What is the concept? Who is the cast? Where do we start? How do we leave? Where do we go? How do we lose? And where do we end up? With just these 7 questions in mind, I, Aloney, with my friend Scott, will create a story as fast as we can. Enjoy this mess. Try not to cancel us. We're good boys. All right, so we've been talking about Star Trek for a bit.
Right.
And I've watched all the new stuff, and you haven't yet, but you also watched all the old stuff, and I hadn't.
Well, technically, I haven't seen the original series. I've went to Next Generation, and I've recently watched Voyager.
And you also watched Deep Space Nine, which means you've watched everything that happens in the Next Generation universe.
Right.
And I've watched all the new stuff that happens in the Next Generation universe.
The Abrams verse, as it is.
I haven't seen shit in the Abrams verse.
Ah.
If nobody knows, in Star Trek, they couldn't get the rights when they wanted to reboot it as a movie. So Abrams was like, I know, I'm going to reboot it. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do what if Kirk became captain earlier. I actually like the movies. They're okay. I haven't watched Discovery yet. I'm going to probably. I might watch it, but I really don't give a shit about that universe, even though it is a cool concept, which is what if all the Vulcans died, and then also what if humanity got technology earlier, weapons technology, and was destroyed. One of their entire ships was destroyed by a future ship, causing them to be super paranoid and militaristic. It's really interesting, because it's like a darker, grittier, alternate timeline where Spock is dead now. But yeah, so they fucking churned some shit up and made a new universe. A lot of people don't like it. Some people do like it.
I saw the first movie they did. I thought it was fine.
I saw all the movies. The third one's okay. The second one's pretty damn good, and I like the first one. They did Wrath of Khan in the second one.
Right.
It's good. Yeah, it's okay. But basically what they did was they had a crisis happen in the Next Generation timeline. The crisis is this stuff called red matter, which is like a super weapon.
Which was in the movie, yep.
Yes. That stuff was released inside of a star, and the star's going to blow up. So I think the way they did it was that naturally the star was going to blow up on its own, and then they were trying to slow it with the red matter, and that's what caused the time travel. So they don't actually mention it in Picard. Like, it's not in a Next Generation thing. They don't talk about red matter. I mean, it exists in the universe, but it's like experimental, and only really Spock knew about it. So technically, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I thought it was wasn't that a big plot element of the first movie though, where that's why they traveled back in time, or
no, yeah, it's in the movie universe, but in the Next Generation universe, it's not important. It's like a side thing now.
That was kind of the big thing that set off the movie. I thought was Spock was trying to do something with the Romulan red matter, and that's what triggered the explosion. And then I forget exactly the precise context, but
yeah, I also kind of forgot because I haven't seen that movie in a while, but from what I thought was that the supernova was going to happen anyway, and he sped it up trying to stop it.
Right.
I think that's what happened. Yeah,
and that's what destroyed the Romulan homeworld.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was already going to get destroyed though, and then that just made it faster.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so the alternate timeline is after that.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't affect the timeline in any way. So basically...
And the Abrams verse, yeah.
Yeah, so in the Next Generation verse, the Romulans' homeworld was destroyed. And in the show Picard, we learned that Picard got a bunch of ships, and he ferried a bunch of them off, and Starfleet wouldn't help, because the Romulans are their biggest enemy, and it's like Cold War shit. And it was basically like a Dunkirk type situation, where he saved a bunch of people, he gave them a new planet, and he was like, cool, I'll be back. And then they do like a whole like Muslim ban on like fucking robots, and there's like a whole thing with that, and it's all complicated, and there's like racism allegories up the asshole and shit. It's actually really interesting. There's a spot in that show where they literally have a sign that says Romulans only, and then Picard like takes the sign and throws it away. He's like, you people are wrong. Racism doesn't rock. It's whatever, but basically the canon in the universe is that it was split, and when the red matter went off, They went back in time by accident. Spock and an entire ship of miners from the Romulan homeworld got sucked into the past. And because their ship is from the future, it's way more advanced.
Right.
So then they started kicking shit out of people. And then they dropped them at red matter into the middle of a planet, into Vulcan, and eliminated Vulcan from existence in revenge because Spock blew their planet up early. And they made Spock watch.
Yep.
And then the Abrams gang kicked the shit out of that guy and send him back through the wormhole, I think.
I think it was more just like they got destroyed.
Yeah, he just blows up.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit about any of that. I didn't even really need to explain it. Just to say that there are two universes.
Yeah, sorry, we did kind of go off on a side tangent.
But I would just say, to explain what we each know, you know pretty much, you've recently watched all of the Next Generation shows, so you know more about that than me. And I recently watched Picard, and I've seen all the movies, which you haven't seen, which means we perfectly fit together in a Star Trek coupling of understanding. We fill each other's gaps, Rocky style, and we know what we need to know to make a Star Trek universe show now. So originally I was going to be like, ooh, which universe should we use? But clearly we're going to use Next Generation because it's where our expertise is.
Well.
And also because it's better. And why would we work in a universe that barely has anything to work off of?
Right.
So, that's the real final frontier, is writing in the Abrams verse. Because you don't have shit to work off of.
Yeah, I mean, they just copied the notes pretty much.
It's like, I guess we could just redo what they did before. It's really basically the equivalent of like, I don't like Next Generation, so I'm just going to make a universe where it doesn't exist. That's basically what that is. It's like, what if we did the Kirk show again? That was basically the idea. Was like, what if we did the original show again, but completely destroyed the entire theme of Star Trek, which is why people were mad. Because the idea of Star Trek is about showing an optimistic human future,
right,
where it shows our best versions of ourselves. And both shows have kind of been like, fuck that, nobody likes that. Next Generation has kept those ideals and is saying that optimistic future did exist, but it will slowly erode over time, and we need to maintain that future.
Right.
We can't let it fall apart. That's what Picard's all about. But the Abrams verse is like
non-stop action.
Starfleet is a bunch of fucking space Nazis. Fuck you. It just turned it into Star Wars. It's like, oh, well, Starfleet, yeah, they have way stronger guns now, and they just kill people. That's what they do now. So, get over it.
Wow.
Khan isn't the bad guy anymore. Now, Khan is a victim of the fucking military-industrial complex.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
And which is fine, because he already was. Like, his whole thing was that he's a genetically engineered soldier. So, like,
right,
it fits into the theme of that. But they're basically like, we're going to take the old theme, and we're going to spit on it and redo it. And Roddenberry, I don't know if he would like that. He'd probably be like, oh, I think it works to get views. I think people will watch it, but I prefer Picard, maybe.
I don't know.
But who knows? He made Andromeda, man. Andromeda's fucking way nutser than any of that.
Yeah.
Andromeda's got fucking aliens that rape you and impregnate you and anything you are. Male, female, it doesn't matter. And they are like tools of like a space god. Like that shit's nuts. He has a group of aliens known as Nietzscheans who follow Nietzschean philosophy.
Right. Yeah, you've mentioned the show a few times.
Dude, that show's great. It got ruined when the alien dude left. It just became shit immediately. And I'm like, now it's just fucking Star Trek. You got rid of the priest, man. He was a priest on a spaceship who wanted to rape people and he couldn't. And he was against it inside of himself. And it was compelling as fuck and weird and probably doesn't hold up. Also, the Nietzschean dude was dope as fuck. He was so cool. His son was going to be the reincarnation of their, like, leader. It was awesome. He's going to be, like, the new king, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're not making Andromeda. Nobody would watch that.
Yeah.
So, we're about 10 minutes in of me vamping. So now we have about an hour and 20 minutes now instead of an hour and a half.
Well. But anyway, Star Trek.
Yes, so Star Trek. So, we've been kicking around the idea since you've been rewatching all of it for, like, months. That maybe we should, make our own on this podcast. So first thing we need to ask ourselves is, we figured out what time we're doing. We're doing Next Generation, obviously. Are we going to do the current Next Generation time? Because I know you don't know as much because you didn't see the movies and you didn't see it's pretty much the same. It's just Romulan space is all fucked up and it's been 20 years and they've banned robots, which there really weren't many robots in the old one.
Come to think of it, that actually could be very interesting. Like, Romulan has been destroyed, so their civilization is destabilized. So, like, there's the whole like Romulan neutral zone, Romulan space. What happens to that space? Yeah.
Well, in Picard, they go there and it's fucked up. It's really bad. There's like crime bosses and shit.
Right. That could be interesting to explore, like prequel wise, like, what happened immediately after that. Like, like what was Romulus, like, you know, Romulan, like they were a serious power before like all that stuff happened. So how would that like moment like affect them immediately?
Oh my god, dude. You're getting me going on all this. That's a fucking great idea. Yeah, because they kind of show a little bit of it in Picard, but they gloss over a lot of it because it's like, what is the galaxy like for 20 years with no Picard?
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Something like that. Just like, a lot can happen in 20 years.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought the Fenris Rangers spinoff was. The Fenris Rangers spinoff, it's still going to be, if they do that, I don't even know if they're going to do it, but if they did that, it's still going to be 20 years later. Like the Fenris Rangers, the whole, I don't know if
Yeah.
So nobody's seen Picard, but I'll say in Picard, Seven of Nine has her own gang of like vigilantes that go around killing criminals that fuck people up in the neutral zone. And they're called the Fenris Rangers, which is just a cool name, given the wolf god, god of werewolves, all that. And they go around and they kill people and they do stuff because the Federation has abandoned the system. That's what they said. So basically, Picard was like, we need to help the Romulans. And then they were like, fuck that. Romulans suck. Screw the Romulans. They can all die. And then Picard was like, well, then if you don't let me get ships and go help those people, I quit. And then they went, okay, you quit. Bye. And then he left. And then he got his own damn ships and he saved them himself. And then they think of him like a king on their planet. And he hung out with the sister monks and did cool shit. And he like taught a kid how to sword fight. It was awesome. And then after that, they were like, well, there was a synth attack. The place blew up. So fuck robots. Those suck. And we're not going to help anybody anymore. And then Picard was like, well, my life is over. I'm going to go make wine for 20 years.
Yep.
And sulk. So while he was sulking, what happened is a very interesting idea. The Sulkverse, Scott. You did it. That's better than anything I can come up with for a time period.
Yeah. And yeah, you mentioned like, making a Star Trek movie. I was kind of thinking like, what if we made a show?
Oh no, yeah, definitely show. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just say movie for no goddamn reason. It's always TV show on this.
Right.
But yeah, so okay, TV show, Star Trek, set in the post-Romulan Crisis.
Yeah, or like perhaps more in the midst of it.
Yeah, the neutral zone. Star Trek Frontier.
Pretty much, yeah. Or you mentioned like, the Rangers. This could be like their origin story, like the USS Ranger.
Yeah, Fenris Ranger. Oh yeah. Ooh. Or maybe the ship's called the Fenris and then it got destroyed and that's why they're called the Fenris Rangers.
Could be, yeah.
So like it's the survivors of that ship is what form the thing that Seven of Nine joins.
Right.
So this is like a prequel while Seven of Nine is still young, which we can't have her in it then because it wouldn't make any sense. She's off doing, Borg shit and Voyager stuff or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I want the Doctor to come back because what the fuck happened to him? He's not in Picard. And if AI is illegal, what the fuck happened to him?
That's a good point, yeah. Well, I mean, in Picard, there are holograms.
Yeah, there are EMHs, but they're not the same level of sentience, though. But
yeah, and also, you need a projector to sustain them. So
yeah, well, the thing about the Doctor from Voyager is that he can go without a projector.
Yeah, he has a special device.
So, what the fuck happened to him?
That's a good question.
Is he like a criminal?
That'd be a fun episode of our series. Like they find this strange device, they turn it on. What the? You're not supposed.
Or there's like a new crime boss, the Hollow Man, and he's moving around. And then they find him and it's like, this isn't a crime boss at all. What are you talking about, Starfleet? And they're like, you have to capture the Hollow Man and kill him. He's evil. And they're like, no, he's not. And then they meet him and he's like, I'm a doctor. I'm healing the people of this quadrant and they're coming to kill me.
Yeah. Becomes Doctors Without Borders. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doctors. Yeah. He's the Doctor Without Borders. He's a hologram without borders. No emitters for him.
Yep.
He risks it every day. Goes out. His device could break at any moment and he'd be permanently dead, but he doesn't care. He's there to help. Dude, I would love him to come back.
Oh yeah.
He was on Stargate Atlantis as like the commander in that, and he's so fucking good. Like he'd be great under fire as like the Doctor.
Yeah, Robert Picardo. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was probably one of my favorite parts of Voyager. Yeah, yeah, he had a lot of fun moments.
Yeah, we're just pulling another Picard. We're like, okay, we'll do the Picard thing, and then we'll just have a character from Voyager show up, the best one, and bring them in.
Yep, why not?
Yeah, 7 of 9's already taken. Let's do the Doctor. All right. Yeah, you know what? I was also gonna say during this, I have a couple of itinerary things we need to figure out to like complete this because this is 7 questions or whatever. It's like I figured out 7 questions to write stuff.
Right.
I wanted to figure out what a typical episode would be, so I'm going to write the episode where they find the Doctor.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next thing that comes out on the channel after this episode will be, I'm gonna write an episode called The Hollow Man, where it's our crew have to find the Hollow Man and figure out what's going on with this new rogue terrorist in the neutral zone, and it's like they end up finding out no. He's not a terrorist. He's a doctor without borders, without hollow borders.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, now that that's out of the way, now we can figure out the actual show.
Yeah.
So here are the questions we need to answer to give you the roadmap of the episode today. We need to figure out, the first question is, who are the characters, right? We need to figure out the crew of this ship.
Right.
The second question is, what is the concept, which we already have.
Yeah.
The concept is a ship called the Fenris in the neutral zone, the newly crazy neutral zone. Their job is to keep peace in an ever-changing frontier of pain and suffering.
Keep an eye on everything that's going on.
Yeah, you can give that great speech of like the space, the final frontier, and now it's like space, the former frontier. Okay, so let's just figure out our cast. That's important. We got to figure out our cast. Then we have the 5 questions that make up the story, which aren't really important right now. And because this is a TV show, we really should just figure out the season arc and not the episode arcs. Because I'm just going to go write one episode, but I'd love to figure out what a season is going to be like.
Right.
Anyway, so on a Star Trek crew.
Yeah.
Positions.
Yeah.
First thing we need to figure out is the captain, right?
Right. My vote would be, I don't know, a Polynesian captain. I think has a nice ring to it.
Ooh. Interesting.
I don't know. I feel like with Star Trek, it needs a diverse cast. It really does.
And that's the whole point, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And Polynesian that's interesting.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a nice fit, I think. Good legacy there.
Dude, if we could get The Rock to be a space captain.
Yeah, someone like that, maybe.
Oh, my, or like Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa would make a fucking great captain, dude.
Yeah?
I'm a super Stargate Atlantis fan, and he was so good in Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
Well, you got to think about it, too. This is the Fenris, right? This is the ship that's like on the front lines, right?
Right.
So
perhaps it's a smaller ship than, like, certainly the Enterprise or even Voyager, maybe.
Well, I know. I'm thinking a big ship. I'm thinking a bigger ship. I'm thinking a military ship.
I was thinking like a scout ship.
Ooh. Yeah, that could work. We could split the difference and have it be a 2-part ship. Like how the Enterprise splits.
Like, 2 ships.
Yeah.
2
Ooh.
ships.
2 ships.
Fenris and the Ranger.
Ooh. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. It would be weird that the Fenris Rangers are like, we just took 2 names of ships and we combined them. It seems like they're called Rangers because they range, because they cover a range of area.
Yeah.
But no, the Fenris and like figure out another like wolf Loki and the Fenris.
I don't know. I'm
because it's like a pair of 2 things, and Fenris was created by Loki, so you could do
maybe
Loki and Fenris.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah.
Like this is named after, the ancient Viking god of wolves and the creator, the manipulator. You can get a lot of plays with that, like the Loki. That'd be I think that's a cool starship name because it's like salacious, it's like, what the Loki sounds like a trickster ship,
Well, I don't know, like, yeah, so you're saying the Loki should be the scout ship?
Well, I was thinking like you have like the main base ship where like the big shit goes down, and then you have like the scout thing, and the scout should be Fenris because it's like a wolf moving around fast.
Right. Yeah.
And then Loki should be the big one because it's like it made it.
Oh. Huh.
So it's like like there's a main ship, the Enterprise of this show, right?
Right.
And it's like, we don't have to call it the Loki. We can call it something else, or the moon or something. I don't know. Something related to Fenris, because the whole story of Fenris is a wolf, the biggest wolf ever made, and it's like chained up, and then like its parent was Loki and someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like the god in D&D, they consider it the god of werewolves.
Right.
But yeah, it's 2 ships. One is
scout ship
and a big ship. Yes.
Right.
And the scout ship is definitely the Fenris, because that's a cool name for a scout ship.
Yeah.
Unless you want to make it jokey and call it the Puppy, and then Fenris is the big ship.
No. This is Starfleet. They wouldn't call it a ship the Puppy.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you really want, that could be a nickname, but we don't have to do that. Yeah, we have our captain, we have a vague idea on who our captain is.
Okay, Polynesian, The Rock, or Jason Momoa type.
Someone who's in command. Very clearly, they're the commander.
Yeah. And that would be dope as fuck. I want them to be more militaristic and less diplomatic, if that makes any sense. Because the idea being that this is a ship that's here to secure the borders. This isn't a diplomatic thing anymore. Like, this is like we're here to maintain peace in a chaotic system where the Romulans are just like fucking going nuts. And the crazy thing is, you're discovering new shit because the Romulans kept secrets, right? So no one knows what's in Romulan space, right? Like, what was back there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was like an iron curtain, right?
Ooh, like metaphorically, this is like not about Russia. This is about all the Slavic states. Like, this is like the Syria Star Trek show. Ooh, this is going to get political.
Dang.
But yeah, this is like, what is Space Estonia like? You know? We don't know what Estonia is like before the 80s. Now we know. But yeah, the idea of like the Romulan curtain falling is a great idea.
Right.
Okay, so more militaristic in some of the crew. Maybe I like the idea of having 2 ships because it also shows that there's more. Like, this is all that's out there. Could be cool.
Right.
Like, there's this ship, and then there's like 2 other ships that sometimes show up as backup, but like they don't have anything out here because nobody cares, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Like, their job is to maintain peace, but technically that's not really what their job is. Their job is to categorize everything in the system.
Yeah, exploring.
Yeah, they're exploring, but their surface mission is to keep the peace. But really they're there to like establish a foothold in this new militaristic zone.
Reconnaissance mission.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think having the argument between the crew about whether or not to do the thing that's good for the Federation or the thing that's good for the people, it's got some spiciness to it, you know?
Yeah.
It gives just enough spice for this to be more interesting than a traditional 80s Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, they can still sit around the table playing poker, but while they're playing poker, they're going to talk about the rebellions.
Right.
You know, the chit-chat is different. We're not going to talk about, 17th century France. Okay, so, Samoan or, like,
Polynesian,
yeah,
like
Polynesian.
Maori might be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I always get that mixed up if I'm saying that wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. People really should know more about Polynesian culture.
Right. Yeah.
You know, people, they fucking colonized the entire ocean.
Exactly. Yeah.
And nobody gives them credit. Just Lilo and Stitch and Moana. That's all we get. Come on.
We could do with some more, yeah. And that's why it's be a nice feature.
What was that movie with it's like a really good movie about the Australian Aborigines. It's about a whale. What is it called? Whale Rider.
I think that's Maori. That's New Zealand.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. I gotta fucking keep my shit together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aboriginals, so Australia, that's the didgeridoo.
It proves our point.
Yeah.
White people don't know enough.
Yeah, that's why it's good to give them media representation.
Yeah.
Good media representation, too.
And they're like clearly all very different, and I'm just lumping them all together, which is fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, that's part why it'd be a good idea to give them some more representation. I actually had a similar thought of, we could also have a Native American doctor. I feel like that would be a good touch.
Yeah. Okay. Native American doctor. I should know more about this. I studied this stuff when I was writing the D&D book. Like, I made Polynesians in our D&D universe of different groups. And I studied a lot about it, but it was a while ago. And I need to read up on my cultural studies, I guess. Anyway, we have the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's give him a personality, or her a personality. So, let's just pick between The Rock and Jason Momoa for now as a stand-in. That's not, this show's never going to get made, but that's not who we'd bring in because they're expensive.
Right.
But I want to give Jason Momoa a chance to give off range and show people that he's a deep-ass actor because we already know The Rock knows how to act.
Yep.
He did a really good movie that nobody's seen where his son gets murdered, and it's fucking dope.
Dang.
And he's got, like, emotions and stuff. And he's going to be in Black Adam. And, like, Jason Momoa's got Aquaman, and he did some good stuff in the Snyder cut, but I want to give him, like, a leading role.
Right.
So, Jason Momoa, Captain Momoa. We don't need to come up with names right now. We're just going to use stand-in names.
Right.
And it's kind of a shame because I don't know many Native American actresses. So, for now, we're just going to call her the Doctor. So far, we know that we're going to do Neutral Zone, Fenris, the 2 ships on the border, exploring, marking down all these unique races that live in the Romulan space, this very secretive area no one knows anything about. Maybe their original purpose is to just scout. They're just supposed to go from planet to planet, figuring out the threats that are in their way and maintaining like diplomatic trades and whatnot. Like their purpose is to trailblaze through the neutral zone. Neutral zone's open now. So we took our biggest warship that was on the border and we sent them out to explore and mark things down. And then while they're out here, they're seeing all the problems and they're like, we need to fix this. And it's all about the red tape.
So it becomes a relief mission?
Yeah. That's no, I think it's a scouting mission that the people on the scouting ship want to do relief. But it's all about what they can get away with.
Yeah, what they could feasibly do.
Jason Momoa being tied up in red tape. The show. But yeah. So Momoa is the Captain Momoa. Okay, so what are you thinking? I'm thinking strict but empathetic underneath.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I like the idea of, like, when they go in, he's, like, Starfleet first, but then when he sees the shit, he's like, oh, we can't be about ourselves. Like, maybe he was picked for this mission because of his loyalty to Starfleet. You know, you do what we say, always, and then he fucking doesn't, eventually. Like, it's about him being eroded, you know? The waters of empathy will rain on Jason Momoa as he fights through the red tape.
Personally, I don't know. For some reason, I can't help but think of like the holodeck and, you know, what people do on the holodeck.
Of course.
Holodeck.
Of course.
Says a lot about who they are as a person, I think. You know, you had Tom Paris in Voyager who spent a lot of time recreating like historical sites, and he had his like, you know, Captain Photon show that he made. So like I said, the holodeck, like what people do on the holodeck says a lot about what people do.
Yeah.
Like some people use the holodeck for study. They don't even use it really for recreation.
Yeah, and then in the Orville they use it for fucking porn. So like there's like a level of like it does tell you a lot about a person what they're doing in the holodeck. Like your holodeck search history definitely gets deleted. So it's definitely like a punishable offense to look at somebody's holo history.
But yeah, my thought was like perhaps one of his holo simulations is, you know, being on the sea with like a traditional, I don't know, Polynesian canoe.
I do like that. It does play into the cultural, like historical shit that happens in the holodeck.
Right.
I do want action in it though. Also,
it could be, you know, it could be a
sea
rough
monster.
sea.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm like sea monster, and you're like, no, he's in a canoe. He's on a very rough sea. It's very calm and very like dark and cool and epic, but it's historical and it's accurate and it's not like a joke, like a giant sea monster pulls him underwater.
Right. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Or actually, well, I suppose if you really want to see a monster, it could be a prank or something.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, this is a cold open we're describing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm writing this into the episode. Like this is how the episode's gonna start.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do like the idea of like, yeah, all that's good. I kind of like the idea that maybe he's doing a Polynesian legend, like he's playing through a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I like all that. Now I'm gonna have to do fucking Polynesian legend research. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then the Kraken showed up, and god damn it, computer and program.
Yeah. I like all of that. All that is good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Captain Moa, he is strong in roots with his culture. He goes in. He's a survivalist.
Yeah.
He's also a studier of history and tactics, and he's a big fan of the sea. And he's a good captain. And he kicks a lot of ass and he takes a lot of names. But he also has a softer side and refuses to buckle under the Starfleet, even though he was very loyal before he came here.
Right. Okay.
I think all of that is good. So, next we got the Doctor. What is traditional of the Doctor in this show, like in Star Trek in general? Because I want to try to break that, whatever it is.
Well, I'm thinking of 4 Doctors. We have
The original.
shoot, right,
Which
yeah.
is McCoy. McCoy is all like...
That's his name.
Yeah.
He's grumpy, which is
He's grumpy.
a curmudgeon, as it were, which is very similar to the EMH. We're going out of order here, but
Yes.
like the EMH was like kind of similar in that regard. Like, had a liked his me time, I think, is the key thing. And like whenever he had to like treat people for like a broken arm, it was just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like,
they're very stereotypical doctors, those two. And then you have the breaking the molds with that a little bit, where you have Beverly, who's like the motherly, like,
right,
scientist type doctor.
Yeah.
And then Deep Space Nine has, you describe him? I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, Julian Bashir, who is very much like, he's a younger doctor, so he's got a lot of like much more energetic, kind of cocky sometimes. And
the Doctor in Picard, by the way, roboticist scientist, and she's like very nervous all the time, and she's like, she's like the coy doctor. She's barely the doctor. She's actually kind of a bad guy. Yeah, not even really perky, just innocent. She's never been to space before. So what has not been done out of all that? With all those pieces, what's missing from that pie? Okay, so we got grumpy, we got motherly, we got robotic and cold, we have energetic and excited, we have scientist, and we have sort of a cold. Do we have like a medic-y type dude? Because that's what I'm thinking. Because if this is more front lines, right?
Technically, the EMH.
Yes, he's a medic, but he's not good at it. That's the whole thing, right?
Right.
Like, I want to know what like a medic is in like Star Trek. Like a fucking surgeon. Like I go in the shit kind of doctor.
I don't know. I kind of feel like we've seen that with like kind of all of them. I think whenever they go on a away mission, you see how they do in
that's
like,
true.
tense situations.
That's true.
Yeah. So I do think like I've thought about it a little bit. Like this doctor could be like the type of person who's like very anxious around like social interactions.
Yeah. Okay.
Perhaps isn't as sure as they should be. But like when they have a scalpel in their hand or like a hydro spray or something, like that's when they're like they're in the zone. Like they are damn good at what they do.
This is their first one.
Okay, yeah.
Or they lost a patient before. Which one is better? Do we want to do this? They're on this ship because this is like the last ditch. Like, oh, we throw whoever we can on this ship, so it's like not the most. But I don't know.
I'm seeing this as somewhat of a younger person. So yeah, I can see that certainly being part of their backstory of like they lost a friend they were very attached to, so that's why they're like anxious around social interactions, because they know like something goes wrong and I could be best buds with this person and I could be dead tomorrow.
Oh, I like the idea. At first I was like, oh, she's a student, but no, she's like, this is like her first big mission, and maybe she's like a prodigy, she's really fucking good, but this is still her first mission, and she's got imposter syndrome about the asshole, you know? It's like, I shouldn't be on the front lines of space. I shouldn't be in the most dangerous place in our galaxy. I'm just a fucking student. I'm just a beginner. And they're like, no, you're not. You're the best damn surgeon in the galaxy.
Oh, maybe.
That's her thing. Is she's coy, but she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, or like shy.
Yeah, shy.
What I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. Yes. Bad with the man, like talking to patients, and I like the idea of just like a.
Well, no. Again, it's like when she's outside the medical bay, she's like, you know, kind of anxious.
Oh,
like,
you're saying like, so she's all business when she's in there.
Like she's focused when she's in there, but you know, like she'll like when she's in the medical bay, she'll have good bedside manner, and you know, like you know, it's a harmless like hypo spray or something, but or well, maybe not quite that friendly, but you know, just like you know, she has two modes, like when she's like outside the medical bay, like you know, not too sure of herself, doesn't think too much about getting too attached to anyone. And when she's inside, like she means business. That's when she's like really hyper focused.
That's very different than what I was thinking, which is good. I think that's a lot better. So when she is this hyper focused version of herself, how is she? Is she very direct? Is she like short sentences? Like everything's like an emergency kind of thing?
That's my thought.
Yeah.
She's
doctor, very serious when she's there,
serious.
but then when she's not serious at all. I like that. You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
Like, you know, what you were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I like this, like, is she more cold or is she still like open and
she's open to those who take the time in it or like who really put the effort in, I think.
Okay. So she's like this is like, so she's like, everything's like like almost like an emergency, but then if she gets close with someone or if they're, you know, if she likes them, she might slow down a little for them.
Right. Something like that. Yeah.
And then you learn her deeper side of like, oh, she doesn't like to talk to people. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She doesn't really think she belongs here. It's kind of like the idea of like in the front, she's like all business, but then when she goes back in the back room, she's like drinking and sad, you know? But less exaggerated, more like she's wearing a Snuggie.
Yeah, just like, you know, when she's not in the medical bay, she's in her quarters.
She's got her hair down, you know? That's the modes. She's got her hair up or she's got her hair down. Visually, you know, she's all business, every hair in place. And then, you know, she goes in the lab and then it's like, oh, one hair's out of place. And she's like, oh, shit. And she's like, fixes it. And then, you know, someone looks at her and then she's like, all business. I like that. Strong-willed woman with a heart of gold. Okay, good doctor. Who's next on the crew? Who do you want to do next? There's a lot of positions.
Let's see. I think there's second in command, helm, engineering, security. Those are the roles that spring to mind.
Yeah, there's also weapons, but weapons is also security now, right?
For the most part. Or maybe, all right, here's an interesting pairing, engineering and weapons.
Ooh. That's really interesting. He's like giving the power so that he can fire, sort of thing.
Yeah.
These are a lot of, okay, so let's pick one. So
yeah, weapons and engineering. Let's go.
Okay, weapons and engineering. So they're on the border. So traditionally, engineers. What do we got for engineers? We'll do engineers first because is there a person that does weapons in other shows?
I don't know.
Because usually they just kind of just like fire.
Right. Yeah.
But
I suppose
who does fire the gun on all the shows?
I think I could have sworn I saw a meme that suggested that Sulu fired the weapons on the original show. Like I said, it was basically a meme, so I cannot say with certainty.
Isn't it always like security that's doing the shooting? What the hell does security do when they're sitting behind them?
Yeah, that's probably about it.
Are they like closing off manifolds? Man, we should have played the fucking VR game. We would know. We would know immediately.
Yeah. Actually, that brings up a good... Well, yeah.
So when it comes to weapons, it's usually security.
Right. So, yeah, maybe we should just play it safe and say, like, you know, security officer.
Yeah, well, isn't engineer, like, not on the bridge anymore? Isn't engineer always downstairs?
Right.
Okay.
That's kind of the point, though. Yeah.
All right, let's do engineer then.
Okay.
What are the engineers in the past?
Let's see. We got Scotty.
Yep. What's his whole thing? I got, he lies.
I got nothing. He's Scottish.
Yeah.
I know that much.
Well, his whole thing, he even explained it in one of the movies, by the way. He says that he lies.
Oh, yeah?
Like when he says he doesn't have enough power, he's lying. He tells Geordi that. He tells Geordi I think it's in an episode, actually.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But he tells LaForge, like, lie to him. Tell him you don't have enough so that when you do it, you're a big deal. He's like, why would I do that? Why would I lie about that? This is a military ship. And then, yeah, you have LaForge, which is like, fucking Cyclops, He's literally just Cyclops from X-Men.
You can see in infrared and all these different spectrums.
He's dope as fuck. He gets the fucking blue eyeballs. That's pretty cool. And I don't know if you saw it in the movie. He gets blue eyes.
Oh, okay.
He gets robot eyes.
Ah.
But yeah, he's pretty cool. He's very business oriented. B'Elanna is my favorite engineer.
Right. Very crass.
Yes.
Klingon. So
and she kicks a lot of ass. And she's fucking dope.
Yep.
She's dating the one dude. But what?
Yeah, Tom Paris.
Yeah. So what? God, Tom Paris is like the example of like the whitest dude I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's like so hardcore white. Like it's like.
Yeah, he was big into 20th history.
Yeah.
Or 20th century.
Yeah,
history.
Which was interesting, I guess. I want somebody, by the way, I'm just going to admit it right now. We need somebody who's totally into the 21st century.
Right.
We need somebody who's totally into like 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just watches YouTubers.
Oh, boy.
They haven't done that yet. They haven't done a YouTuber one.
Oh.
They haven't done someone who watches influencers and not movies.
That's actually a good idea for a character, someone who's documenting everything that's happening.
Ooh.
Or well, I mean, everyone does kind of take their their the captain's log, engineering's log.
No, what is the ship influencer? What is that? What is the future of influencers in space? Now you've opened Pandora's box.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
yes.
There's also that could fit well into like a counselor or morale officer's role.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
maybe
we skipped on the engineer here.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's hard. What the fuck do you do with the engineer, right? Yeah. I make ship go. They should have it be fully automatic. Like they don't even have an engineer.
I was thinking earlier, it could do some sort of robotic engineer.
Yeah, but robots are like
yeah, that was my main.
Yeah, that could be interesting though. Artificial, like an AI. No, we can't because of the time period.
Yeah.
Cyborg.
Something.
Though.
Yeah.
What if they're an X-Borg?
Well then that's 7 of 9 then.
I know, but she was an engineer, was she?
She was not specifically engineering, no.
I mean, we can do another XB. It doesn't have to be like 7 of 9,
I guess not.
Because it's like a race in the show now. So I feel like we should have a Borg, because the Borg are like important in the neutral zone because there's the cubes there.
I mean, in Picard though, that was a relatively new thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they've been working on it for a while, but how did it get there? Also, that means the Borg attacked. Unless it's the Borg cube from Next Gen or from First Contact, but I don't think it is. I think it's a new cube.
Okay.
Borg definitely show up at some point.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But the X-Borg is like a whole thing in that area. Like that's part of the Fenris Rangers thing, is that that the X-Borg are getting attacked and stuff, and there's a lot more of them. So they came from somewhere. Like Borg rehabilitation person could be good.
Maybe.
Like we could do the kind of the opposite of 7 of 9.
How so?
I don't know. That's just something I just said out loud. I was like, what would that be? What would the opposite of her be? So her whole thing was that she was robotic and she didn't want to be human, but they were like, you need to be human, and then she learned to be human.
Okay.
I've always wondered this. What if there's someone who wants to be robotic?
Yeah, transhumanism.
Yeah. Why isn't that a thing? Why have they never done a guy who's like, you know what? I hate being a human. I want to be a robot.
Well, there you go.
What if we do a cyborg, right? Like a fucking, I want to be more robotic. Fuck humanism. Fuck all that.
Right.
Maybe we can kind of play off the X-Borg thing then, because the whole Borg is like kind of...
Yeah.
Maybe we should have both. We should have a guy who wants to be a robot and a guy who used to be a robot.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting to have them argue.
Right.
Because one of them was turned into one against his will, and the other one is like, I want to be a... I think that'd be crazy, right? That's a risk.
Yeah.
Let's fucking put the poker chips on the table and let's go. The engineer wants to be a robot. We're doing it. Geordi was kind of cybernetic, so why not go full on? Geordi, it was because he didn't have the eyes and he wanted to be a normal human, but he couldn't, and he was better, and he accepted that.
Yeah.
And I think we should do the opposite and do a guy who's like, I want to be a robot.
Yep.
Robot arm, robot leg, robot eye.
Right. Or maybe that could be part of his character. Like he has a robotic leg, a replacement leg.
Yes. He has robotic parts, and I do like the idea of him. That just makes me want to give him like a pirate accent. Where does the pirate accent come from?
Probably, well, England or Scotland, maybe Cockney.
Yeah. Do we want to pull a Scotty though, you know?
Right.
What is the opposite of Scottish? Japanese. I don't
know.
What would be the opposite of Scottish now? Now I'm wondering.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to go down that specific road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get so lost.
I don't know. Though I don't know that.
Okay, let's since we're doing the whole diverse cast thing.
Right.
What have we had for engineers so far? We've had Geordi, we've had the original Doctor, we've had the robot AI Doctor. Who was the doctor? No, not the Doctor. Fuck. Why am I saying doctors? Why did I go to? Okay, we have
Geordi.
Who was the engineer on Deep Space? Did they have one?
O'Brien. Funny enough, he was carry over from Next Generation.
Okay, and then what was the one in Voyager? It was B'Elanna.
Yeah.
So what can we do with an engineer? So we're gonna do cyborg. So what race? Vulcan becoming a cyborg?
I don't know.
That feels like not a change at all, though.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got a robot arm now. Like, okay, what's like a traditionally
Betazoid.
Ooh, yes.
Counselor Troy.
Yes.
Like, they're empaths.
Yes,
so.
the Betazoid thing. Betazoid becoming a robot sounds amazing because it's like they are the most not robot you could be, right?
Right. Yeah. They can sense your emotions.
Yes. I want him to be Russian.
All right.
It's close enough to Scottish. It's not the opposite of Scottish. It's very similar in vibe. It just went into my head. Russian cyborg, like, Betazoid.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
That sounds so nuts to me. Like, imagine how fucking crazy. That's so weird.
That would be pretty weird, yeah.
Right? That's like everything. That's like the human experience in a person. I am a psychic, empathetic psychic where I can only feel your emotions in your mind. And I want to lose all of my emotions and become a robot man. And I'm Russian.
I mean,
that works.
Yeah. that kind of works.
That's why he wants to become a robot, because he doesn't want to feel people's feelings anymore.
Right.
He doesn't want to take on your pain. Oh my God, that's so good, especially with the theme of the ship being like broken in like this broken world. Oh yeah. I want to write him. That gets me going. Okay. So, yeah. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. All right. I don't want to like name him Ivan or some shit.
Right.
His name is Ted.
I mean,
let's give him a number. Number. He wants to be a robot. Give him a robot name.
Yeah. He changed his last name to. I mean, I'm
145.
All right.
What were you thinking?
I was just thinking like 1.
Oh, 1.
Yeah, he's that arrogant.
Yeah, I'm number 1. That is pretty good. I was gonna say 145 because 1435 or something like Ivan, but with numbers. Like with Roman numerals.
Right.
But no, I think. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. 1. Do it.
Yeah.
It's great. Because he's the first like person to become a robot. His name's 1. Neo. Owen. That's his real name.
There we go.
Yeah. Owen the Russian. You know what? If Jean-Luc can be British, then Owen can be Russian.
Yeah.
Somehow in the future, in this optimistic future, Russia and America merge in the most impossible thing in the world. Alaska expands into Russia.
Yeah, or Russia is colonized by Alaska.
There we go. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I wonder if that sort of thing has actually happened in the universe, though.
Yeah. Apocalypse, of course it happened, right?
Oh,
There'd be a guy named Owen who grew up in Alaska, then lived in Russia in the post-apocalypse. And then when society was reborn, there you go. All right. Owen won the mechanic. That's what he calls himself. He doesn't call himself an engineer. He calls himself a mechanic. He's real down to earth, but he also wants to be a robot. That's a fucking character. That's a complicated man. I don't even need to say anything more with him, man. He takes on people's emotions, and he used to be like a ship therapist type thing. Like, he used to be an empathetic guy, and then he was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can feel how people feel about me and how people feel about each other, and people suck. He's like, I can feel all of their pain, and there's like people who are really sad, and he can't go near them. Like, he's like really good at being a betazoid, like super strong at studying emotions, and he like turned his powers off. That was like his first AI thing.
He wants to, yeah.
Yeah, or like maybe he has like a switch to turn it on and off. Like, it's so strong that was the first step to becoming a robot, was to remove the power. So it's there, but he has like a mental block on it. There we go. He had a Vulcan block it with a mind meld.
Oh, dang.
He had a Vulcan therapist go in his mind and remove his power, like block it with a psychic wall. So then you can get a really cool moment of someone breaking that wall and all the emotions piling in. You just see him like losing his shit, crying PTSD style on the ground because he's so powerful. He can feel everyone's emotion on the ship at once. That's why he has the wall. And then he wants to be more robotic and less human. I don't think maybe he doesn't need to be a full-on robot, you know? Right. But the idea of like slowly shedding away more and more of his humanity, or whatever betazoid, his zoid-manity. I'd point out, they say humanity a lot in Star Trek, but there's a lot of aliens around. The fuck does that mean?
Yeah. Universal translator.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so we got the mechanic, we got the captain, we got the doctor. What's left on the bridge crew? Security. All right, let's do security. So let's try to push through this. So what is the coolest security character we can come up with? Who's been security so far? We had Worf. Who was security on Enterprise? Did they not have security?
I feel like...
I don't think they had security then.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a specific role yet.
Yeah, they had stupid-ass communications where you just repeat what the computer says.
Right.
They had the chick... what's her name in Next Generation who died?
Yash.
Yes, Yash. There we go.
Yeah. Tara Yash.
Yeah.
Yasha
Tar. Tara Yash. Her, yes.
Yeah.
Then you have the Vulcan on the other one.
Tasha Yar. Yeah, that's it. Huh?
Then you have the Vulcan in Voyager.
Yep, Tuvok.
Yeah, great fucking name. I love Tuvok. He's also kind of the ship's therapist, which is fucking like, that's dope.
I mean, he was Vulcan, but I thought Neelix was the morale.
Yeah, he was, but Tuvok did like mental therapy when people needed like psychic power stuff, you know.
I suppose, yeah.
The idea that Tuvok is the one that put the mental break in Ivan, Owen is great in like a guest episode type thing.
Maybe.
But all right, so and then. Is that all the security? Who was security? Worf was security in Deep Space Nine, right?
Odo, actually. Odo, the shapeshifter. He was security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love Odo.
I don't know anything about Deep Space Nine. So in Picard...
Yeah. Odo was very much the Grouch of the cast.
Yeah.
In
Picard, they don't have...
human stuff.
Oh, yeah. In Picard, they don't have security because it's a tiny ship with like 5 people on it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so out of those pieces, what is missing? We have Tasha Yar, badass. Oh, you also have in Orville. You have what's her name? The one woman, the strong girl who left, and then they got another strong girl to replace her. I can't remember her name.
No idea.
Okay, so what are we missing from all that? What do you think would be an interesting security officer?
For some reason, my first thought goes to, you remember Thor Ragnarok? There was that the rock
Korg? Taito, you want Taito Waititi? Dude, I'd love a New Zealand like Taito Waititi, like from that exact spot. Wherever the fuck those that. Who is that? What is that place called? Whoever. Oh my God, no! I just thought of a better one. What We Do in the Shadows. Jermaine Clement or whatever his name is, the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, the British guy.
Okay.
I think that's who they is. Or is that the other guy? Whatever. The what we
Yeah,
do in what we do in the
Drago.
shadows type person is what I'm saying.
What I was thinking of was more just like who Korg is as a character, just like clearly a bruiser, but just like very chill, like, hey man, you doing okay, man?
Yeah, I do like that character a
Yeah,
lot.
like that was my main thought, just like having someone who's like like, hey man, you think you had a little too much to drink?
Yeah.
Why don't we just take you off to their quarters?
Yeah, Gork.
And then once they get like real uppity, it's like one hit and they're down.
It's literally Korg, but just backwards. It's Gork. It's the same character. we just put Korg in it. We're like, all right, Korg's there.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
Except maybe change it up a little bit.
It's less work for us, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rockman, strong Rockman. Do you want him to be a Rockman still, or do you want to change that?
No, I was just thinking like
the personality
wise.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm saying. So what else?
As far as race, maybe.
I like. Maybe we should make him. I'm like, should we make him a Klingon, or is Klingons played out?
Klingon's the first thought that came to my head, but I do agree. I think
I really hate the whole
we
fucking like Klingons are angry shit, and then they change it to Valana, and then it's like, why is the mixed race character fighting her inner anger and shit? I'm like, what the fuck?
No.
But also there is part of it like it's about how she has to embrace that. So I guess it makes sense, and they do kind of do it well, but.
Right. But yeah, I agree. Klingons overplayed, I think.
Klingons are exhausting at this point. And Vulcans. They're both fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
We should fucking put a Magog in there. Pull him from fucking Orville. Oh my god. What the fuck would it be? So I like the Rockman. Let's just make up a race.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, are they rock people, or what are we gonna do with that? What are you thinking? What's a weird race you want to have for a security man? That's like doable with makeup that isn't too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we thinking?
Something insectoid, I think. Like, they have an exoskeleton.
Yeah.
They have an exoskeleton, so they can take a hit.
That does make me uncomfortable, but maybe that's part of its charm.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh, Bugman.
No, yeah. I get that it makes you uncomfortable, but I think that kind of works, actually.
Yeah, it does play up to his intimidation factors. Like, he's not a scary guy, but he's a fucking bug, so of course people don't like him.
Yeah.
Dude, bug racism. Racism is a thing, man. If I met a bug person, I would not like them, and that bothers me that I wouldn't like them. I don't like bugs, man. We're coded to hate them. Yeah. Bugman. Yeah, no, that works. He's the Bugman. He's Bug Korg. He's Gork the Bugman.
Right.
Oh, what kind of bug? What's the most likable bug? Grasshopper? Like, what are you thinking? Butterfly?
I'm thinking beetle again. Like, you bring up a good point of like how much like
cockroach man
makeup for the guy. So that's a fair concern.
Calling him I mean, this isn't real either though, so we can do whatever we want. Cockroach man is fucking so fucking horrible. Spider-Man.
I mean, we're talking about aliens, so the possibility exists.
I know, man spider.
But yeah, just like I'm picturing him in my head, and he's got like a glossy, like thick foreheads.
He's a cicada man. Humanoids evolved from cicadas. Every 14 years he's really fucking loud and everybody hates it. No, yeah.
Something that looks really, really tough.
Yeah. He's a beetle. He's going to be a beetle. He's going to be one of those hornhead beetles. Give him that horn thing that the hornhead beetles have.
Right. Yeah.
He's got like an antler. He's fucking buff. Yeah. He's a big, strong dude, but he's innocent and, calm on the inside and very cordial, but he'll kick the shit out of you if you get in the line. Yeah. I get that guy. That guy makes sense. He's uncomfortable to look at, but we make him slightly more comfortable to look at. He does gross shit that always plays in Star Trek. It's like, oh, let's talk about this weird alien thing. It's like, it's molting. Yeah. He's molting today. Fine. I'll put the Bugman on.
Yeah, why not?
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so far we have Jason Momoa as... I don't know why Jason... Is it Jason Momoa? Why does that feel weird to say?
Yeah, Aquaman. Yeah.
Why do I keep saying Jason Momoa and feeling weird? I never thought about the fact that his name is just Jason. I always think of him as Momoa. He's just plain old Jason.
I don't know.
Okay, so anyway, Captain Momoa, and then do we have a first mate yet? We don't have a first mate. We should do first mate.
Not really, no.
Who's the first mate? Who was complimentary to Jason Momoa? I'm thinking old white lady. I'm thinking like
like
Karen.
No, I don't know if we want to go full Karen, but I do
I
kind
like
of.
a Beverly Crusher.
I like the idea. Right, yeah, someone who's very clearly like older, more experienced, perhaps.
Oh my god, dude! Why don't we just say Janeway? She's his advisor. She's not even his first mate. Oh man, no, we can't do Janeway. No, I would love it, dude. She's in a lot of great shows too. She's in NTSF SDSUV, which is the greatest show of like the longest, dumbest name, and she plays like a cop with an eye patch.
Oh wow,
she's so dope for that show. It's so dumb. Okay, anyway, okay. So, yeah, what are we thinking for this? So, female, like, older woman, not super old, but, older. Not like Betty White. Right. Betty White perhaps being on a starship would be pretty fun, though. But, yeah.
Perhaps she was demoted, and that's why she's, like, serving aboard this ship.
It's really just, like, you're making me scream Janeway so hard, but yes.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
She was an admiral once would be pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like, pretty high up on the chain of command, but like something happened.
She was the one person that didn't vote Picard out.
Yeah, maybe.
She was the one person that was like, no, we need to help the Romulans. And then they fucking demoted her ass.
Right.
Do they ever show old female Vulcans? That could be a good ad. Like, are there ever female Vulcans as like a main character?
Yeah. Well, I think there was one in like that
the prequel.
Yeah, the prequel
that
series.
Nobody talks about. Yes, that I completely forgot about until you said that. Yeah, but she was young. She wasn't like old.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do an older Vulcan. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, what are Vulcans like? Don't they like they mellow out when they're older? Isn't that like a whole thing?
Well, they like it kind of depends. Like like they like I recently watched Voyager, and yeah, there's a whole thing of like what if Voyager got back like way like 20 years after being stuck in the Delta Quadrant, and Tuvok like needed to contact Vulcan before then, but he didn't, so he ended up going kind of mad.
Yeah,
he basically like lost like his identity, his self-awareness.
What the fuck happens to Vulcans when Vulcan's gone?
Oh yeah.
If they lose their sanity when they don't check in with the homeworld, what the fuck happens to them when there's no homeworld?
Well, no, when I say sorry, I meant like just like other Vulcans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was like a whole side thing I didn't know. Okay, so do we want? Okay, we'll do a Vulcan. There could be that they're secretly Romulan. Nobody knows for sure. They could be a Romulan. We got to have a Romulan on the ship, by the way, too.
Fair enough.
Since we're in Romulan space. Do we think she should be the Romulan, or should we have a different character that's Romulan? Is there anyone left on the crew that we should make that's Romulan? What if the counselor was Romulan?
Maybe, yeah.
That'd be so weird, right?
That would be a good, like, have an ambassador. That would be a good choice.
Yeah. Well, also, because the idea of, like, they're the secret keepers, right?
Right.
So they would actually be good therapists, but also you wouldn't trust them.
Right.
Like, think of how fucking weird that would be.
That'd be pretty good.
Imagine if, like, a fucking communist, like, a symbol of communism is your therapist. The whole idea of, like, who to keep your secret better than a Romulan who never says the secrets. But also, how much could you trust her? That I like the idea that the ship has real big mental problems because nobody wants to talk to her. And it also plays up the whole tension on the ship, right? Between Romulans and non-Romulans. It's like, if there's a Romulan on the ship and nobody trusts Romulans, like there's a whole, like, all that's good.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. Okay. I want them to be, I kind of want the Doctor to be Muslim, but they're also Romulan, which kind of fucks with all that.
I mean, we also...
Because then we're making them secretive and shit, and I don't want that either.
I don't know. Like, Muslim would be a nice addition. Perhaps, like, we haven't talked about, like, maybe the helmsman could be a Muslim.
Yeah. This is an interesting conversation, to say the least.
An important one, though.
Yeah. I guess the helmsman will work. I was going to say we could make the old woman, but she's Vulcan. I forgot. I keep forgetting there's also alien races to consider. So it's like you're trying to make a diverse team, but you're also like, but also what alien are they?
Right.
That's fucking, and then you have to hold, like, damn, Star Trek is fucking difficult, man, because it's like, it's supposed to be about diversity and, like, racial inclusion and stuff, but also there's, like, aliens and shit. So you're, like, mixing metaphors, Right. There's a lot of fucking complicated shit in that. But yeah, okay, so, then the therapist is Romulan. The first mate is a former admiral, and now she's an angry old Vulcan. Or no, not angry. Calmer, chiller Vulcan, maybe.
Yeah.
Vulcan, whatever.
Yeah, like, well, say she'll have like family aboard the ship.
Ooh, that's also really interesting.
Not that she necessarily needs. I don't know.
I do like Grandma Vulcan. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, that's the first bait though. That's a lot to handle. Okay, helmsman, male or female? Are there two helmsmen, or is that just an Orville thing?
I think for the most part, like Tom Paris was the helm on Voyager.
Yes,
and I think that was.
But in the other ones, wasn't it like Hulu and Chekhov? Or Chekhov was communications, right?
Yeah, Chekhov was like no, he was like one of the engineers, and like, you know, he manned the transporter.
Oh, okay. So for helm, so is there a second like helmsman?
As far as I know, not really. Or, well, maybe, I don't know, I'll double Chekhov.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Chekhov did, because I know they had like the ensign, they had like Wesley Crusher, and I always thought there were like two people on the front of the bridge that were like working together.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we need a Wesley Crusher.
We don't necessarily need a Wesley Crusher.
Well, we need somebody on the ground, like
a what?
Someone lower ranked. I mean.
Oh, an ensign. Yeah.
Yeah, like an ensign or something. Or also, we need somebody to run the second ship, unless that's just going to be like a free flowing, somebody takes the ship kind of thing, like the fighter that's in Voyager. Is it like that, where it's just like.
Right. I think for the most part, focus on one ship, but have it be like, you know, they're part of a fleet. So every once in a while, they'll check in with the Commodore or the Admiral or whoever's on the big ship.
Okay. All right. So they're on the small ship, and then there's a big.
I don't know. We'll focus on one crew as my main points for now.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. No, yeah. I like they're on the Fenris, and then that also plays up the Loki thing, right? Because the Loki is like Starfleet Command, right?
Right.
If the bigger ship is like the Loki, and then they have a bunch of smaller ships that leave, that patrol the sector, and they're on the smaller ship. And by smaller, I don't mean like tiny ship. I mean like freighter, right? Like there's like 200 people on the ship or whatever. Okay, so here's what we got. What I want to add is the reason I'm talking about this ensign thing, or this like second like helmsman, is that I want 2 more characters. I want that Muslim character, and then I also kind of want a Latino character, because we don't have one.
Okay. Right.
We also don't have any Asian characters. Just pointing that out. If we're going to do full diverse inclusion, but like it's like there's only so many parts.
Yeah, I mean, we can like fill in the gaps, and you know, we can have recurring characters as well.
Yeah, we're just talking about the main cast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a. Weirdly, I kind of wish there was like a Sulu's great grandkid. I actually think that'd be really fun with like the legacy of Star Trek and stuff, because I really like Sulu. He's like the only thing I really, other than Kirk, Spock and Sulu, really, from the original, you know. I do kind of want a Sulu.
Maybe it's his great cousin or something.
Yeah, granddaughter, grandniece.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not quite clear on how much time has passed. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. How long has it been? Like 100 years?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's not that long, sure. Right? Well, since the original, this is like right after. Like this is like 15 years after Next Generation. This is basically like 10 years after Voyager ends, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because Jerry Ryan is like 20 years, no, it's like 25, maybe 30 years older. So, yeah, it's only been like 10 years since Voyager showed up. It's crazy to think that Voyager was the last thing in the timeline. Or was it Deep Space? I can never tell.
No, Voyager was the last thing.
It's interesting that that's the last one, right? And then it was just kind of open. And then they were like, all right, we're back. I mean, I guess the movie, but the movie has time travel, so it's not even like...
Right.
Okay, so we need to come back and give some of these characters more personality, because so far they're just like a race. Okay, here's what we have so far. We have Captain Momoa, who spends his days on like boat trips in the holodeck and everything. We said everything we need to know about him. Then we have his first mate, which I guess we're calling her Karen until we come up with a different name. You know, Haley. All right, Karen Haley.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
That is not.
I know that's not what you meant. All right, fine. Helen. Helen Haley. There you go. 2 H's.
I don't know. Yeah, just like,
Nitty gritty. I'm getting caught on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so first mate, older admiral, demoted because she took Picard's side and believes in the Romulans. Then we have ship's therapist is a Romulan, keeps everyone's secrets, but no one knows any of hers. Then we got security is the bug man who goes around and, secures. Engineer is Owen, the robot man, who's just like a cyborg, and he's a betazoid who's holding back his emotions.
Right.
There's a lot of fucking characters. Now that's the engineer. Then we have the Helms, which is the Muslim character that we have not given a name or personality to yet. And then we have the ensign, which I've decided is a Sulu arbitrarily.
Right.
And then I want a Latino character on the ship somewhere. We do not have another role yet that we're going to have to find.
Science officer. Could do that.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So is that all the characters then?
I guess so. Or like all the main characters, like I said, like we can have plenty of recurring
All right,
characters.
let's take a break. I'm going to try to remember and write down all of those. So we'll stop here and then we'll come back and we'll go for like 20 or 30 more minutes to figure out the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
Because we got real hung up on characters, but we immediately had a concept, so.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what matters in Star Trek is the characters.
Oh, yeah, that's the big thing.
It doesn't really matter what they do. There's not really season arcs.
Right, yeah, right.
But we'll figure out in a second. But yeah, what do you think?
Yep.
We cut down on the time. There was a half an hour in there of me going off topic.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun. So this will be a bitch to fucking edit, but
Right.
I think I'll have enough to cut out that it'll probably be like 55 to like an hour 20.
Okay.
But my question to you is, do you want to record another one today, or do you think we're done for today?
I think we're good for today.
All right. Well, one day we'll come back and we'll do another one of these where we'll talk about the season.
Right.
Normally we would go into that, but there's so much. We're so far in time-wise.
Yeah.
All I know about the season arc is that basically it'd just be like, Star Trek episodes, but with a slight grit to them because the whole, everything has that sort of air of, this area of space and what it's like. Kind of like how Voyager is, where Voyager is about, yes, it's Star Trek, but it's also about how they're trying to get home.
Right.
So this is, it's Star Trek, but they're also trying to maintain peace.
Yeah.
In this, and meet places that the Starfleet knows nothing about because Romulan's been hiding it.
Yeah.
Because, they're the most secret people in the galaxy, and they own an entire section of space. So what the fuck is in there, right? So you could go batshit, and you could also show what happens when First Contact goes bad. What's it like to be an invading empire in a space that isn't yours,
Right.
Because that's kind of what Starfleet is. It's like they're like Britain going into places they don't belong. They're not conquering this, but they're putting footholds and they're building bases. So they kind of are.
Yeah, kind of.
That's basically the purpose of this mission is to scout everything and build footholds with the Loki. Loki is there to build footholds. And then they're like, no, we should be doing relief and helping the people and making good deals. And it's sort of like the clash in values. That's the core of the show. And I think that's really good. I think having a show where Star Trek confronts itself is a really good idea. Because the ideals of Star Trek are kind of unrealistic, but we hope that they will be, and that's kind of the fun. It's about the checks and balances.
Right.
Between, good and not good. I wouldn't say full on evil, but maybe. But yeah. So there we go. That's the first episode of this again. We haven't recorded in a long time. Thanks for listening. Bye.